Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we are speaking with Emily Akrati. She is the chairman and founding board member of Lifetime Foundation, which is associated with Lifetime Fitness. And as we all know, Lifetime Fitness has really delved deeply into pickleball. So we get all things Lifetime and pickleball and about her foundation. But before that, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out our newsletter as well and our merch page. All right, let's get to that conversation with Emily.
All right, Emily Akrati from Lifetime. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report.
Thank you, Sleeves. Thanks for having me. Happy to talk to you guys.
Yeah. So before we get into Lifetime and how it's really kind of jumped into pickleball and really kind of been an ambassador for the game, and because it's everywhere and it's all over Lifetime as well, we need to find out how you got into pickleball. So give us a little background about how this goofy wiffle game found your life.
So all three of my kids play tennis. I have two girls, one boy. They're great tennis players, and their tennis coach Mo Alhouni, who's now a pro pickleballer, as he was giving them lessons, said, "Hey, how about I give you tennis lessons? You're just sitting on the sidelines here." And I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I don't want to learn tennis at this point."
Yeah.
And so then he said, "Well, have you heard of pickleball?" And I'm like, "Never heard of pickleball." So he was literally looking up YouTube videos, and we started taping the tennis court and learning off of YouTube how to play pickleball. And he had a little bit of background with it. And so he said, why don't, I teach you pickleball, see if you like it. And then I was immediately hooked. I'm like, this is so much fun. So I started inviting some friends, and we were taping, the tennis courts, and one thing led to another, where we knew that this is just where it's at. It's fun, it's athletic, pretty much any age can do it. My kids are playing, and then my mom, and so it's a big age group that can just jump in and learn the game pretty fast. So eventually we found, though, that taping the tennis courts pissed off the tennis people, and then the pickleball people were like, well, this isn't cool. So I started asking Bram, I'm like, hey, have you heard of pickleball? You really should get pickleball in the clubs. And he's like, I'm never gonna do pickleball, it's gonna ruin my tennis game. And so time progressed. He eventually tried pickleball and literally fell in love with it. And so that was kind of the progression of Lifetime in pickleball. And
so how long ago were we talking?
There was a couple pros doing a little bit of pickleball and a little bit of leagues here and there on the basketball courts. But it wasn't really taking off until Bram really dug into it and said, hey, this is gonna be a thing. And then once he got involved, and it did kind of ruin his tennis game because he never went back to tennis, so he was right.
Well, yeah.
But once he gets his head into something and said, I know people are gonna love this, it was game on.
Yeah, and clearly he's got a nose for this kind of thing, because Lifetime has just exploded. And people think I bring it up, that pickleball is at Lifetime, and people are like, well, how long's Lifetime been around? And I don't think people realize how long Lifetime has been a thing. And so
92.
That's when I graduated college. So talk to me a little bit about the progression of Lifetime itself, and obviously, athletic club meets country club, and it's really a lifestyle. You built a culture around wellness. So run me through that, and then we'll get into the pickleball end of it a little bit more.
Sure. I mean, Bram built the first club in '92, and he had, prior to that, worked at US Women Fitness, and really his whole vision is not a gym. It's just a healthy way of life company for the entire family. There's something to do for everybody, and have that country club, top of the line Lexus compared to a Honda, feel. Has been his vision, from day one. So he, started private, went public, went private, back to public. So it's been quite the ride. The dude works 90 hours a week, and he is he is focused on, making it
Yeah.
the best place for everybody. So gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you can take any sort of class from all these experts. There's residencies. You can set up a workspace at Lifetime. I mean, you name it. And that's when I mentioned culture. It literally can become your lifestyle because there's a digital end to this. There's a magazine. There's a podcast. And I think what I enjoy about researching it is people want to go there, and that's
Yeah.
always been the grind. I think with keeping yourself fit is like it's this. I got to go to the club and knock out whatever I got to do. But it seems that y'all have built something that people just really want to go to because
Yeah.
it's it's
And
it's
don't want to
part of their
leave.
life and
And the
don't want to
kids don't
leave.
want to
Right?
leave.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a completely different cultural mind shift that I think obviously has worked. If you got over 160 locations in North America, and it seems like a new one's coming online almost monthly. So kudos to y'all. Let's talk about the pickleball because it seems like these two things, Lifetime, which is just growing, and pickleball, which obviously has been around for a very long time as well,
Yeah.
um, exploded during COVID, and then they kind of meet. And so, talk to me about pickleball. You mentioned it briefly at the beginning in your own pickleball journey, but kind of where pickleball's place is within Lifetime.
So I just think it's all about people wanting to be around other like-minded people, and it's
Yeah,
a community. And like I mentioned earlier, it's all ages. So really, it's tennis. I can't go up on a tennis court and pick up the game and have a fun match with
right,
my mom or
right, right.
anyone, for example. But pickleball, you
Yeah,
really can, and then there's so much community touch and personal just interaction that I think people over
yeah,
COVID really like didn't get, and then realized that how much they were missing that in their lives. So it's been a good partnership with Lifetime and then pickleball. I think, I mean, don't quote me on this, but I want to say 700 courts in the last year Lifetime has built across the
wow,
country, rough and tough, just
yeah,
crazy about it. And there's still a demand. I mean, you look at all the pickleball courts anywhere you go and they're just jamming. So it's fun to see that
yeah,
people
yeah,
want to do
absolutely.
something healthy and have
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I appreciate about Lifetime is that when you all jump into something, like running, for example, and I've been a runner for 30 years, and obviously do cycling events, these endurance events, and pickleball, and in yoga. You really jump in and you do it well and you do it right. There's no half-assing this, and that's a really cool thing to see because when people come and play pickleball, they have access to coaching as well,
Mhm.
which I think is very important. It's a game that obviously it's easy to pick up, but as you know and I know, to master it and to get to a particular level, you think you're good at it, and then you play somebody that is really good at it. You
Oh my
find out
God.
in a hurry that there's more to this football ball game than you think. Um,
Yes. And it can be
how,
very, very athletic. It can be,
oh
not
yeah,
very athletic, just hitting the ball back and forth. But
for sure.
absolutely, when you get to playing with some of these high level players, you're running.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
they're moving you around, and I think the biggest thing too is for me is this game requires you to be constantly in an athletic position. And an athletic position takes strength and endurance. And
Yes.
obviously, with your background and your fitness level, it has to help your game tremendously because, when people come into this game, and we get you folks out here in the middle of nowhere all the time, the first thing I notice is one, they run out of breath really quick. And two, they can't walk for a couple days because they haven't
Well,
used certain muscles.
it's so true. I was actually going to say that, Sleeves, that what I would love to see people do more of is cross training. I've seen so many injuries,
Yeah,
and I get it because it's so much fun and it's addicting, and you slowly, get better every time. So that's all you want to do. It's consuming.
right.
But I see too many people just doing pickleball, and then you get, injuries because your muscles are,
For sure.
overtrained. And so I'm a huge huge advocate of weight training. And
Yeah.
and if you don't do both, eventually you're just going to get injured. So I want to see more people do, a little bit more other things, yoga, weight training,
Yeah.
stuff along
Talk
those.
a little bit too about, like, obviously you have an incredible background yourself personally. Um, I found, because I was a runner for so long, that, going one direction, not moving a lot of side to side, not leaning forward, that, within about 4 or 5 months of playing this, I started to have lower back issues, and some certain other things that would just pop up here and there. And I really had to focus on warming up.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing that I noticed, because the game looks so simple and so, so easy to play, that, you just come out there with a paddle, you start dinking the ball around. Then there's dynamic movements pretty quick. So, what are your thoughts about a warm up and a proper warm up, for this
Oh,
game?
absolutely. And I'm so guilty of not doing warm ups a lot of the times, but when I do warm up compared to when I don't, it's, the soreness the next day is just not there when I warm
Yeah,
up. And
yeah,
so just simple, shoulder rolls and walking
right.
lunges and side lunges and, little stretches, where it's just stretching your lower back. Just, doing some of these dynamic movements before just jumping in and playing is for sure a
Yeah.
game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned, like a lot of people, I've learned the lesson the hard way. I guess the good news is I haven't, knock on wood, had to go to, the emergency room. And because people, they do all the time. All of a sudden they lock up, they're back, they fall, whatever it happens to be. But I think the
Yeah.
new thing I've heard that I enjoy is be weird, warm up.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
So, as we before we let you go here, let's just talk about, what you think's kind of coming down the line for Lifetime in pickleball. Obviously, 2024 has been a big year for fitness and for pickleball and Lifetime. What are you looking forward to in 2025 as far as things go?
You know, I think there's going to be more club to club tournaments for sure within
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime. That's been super fun for people, especially that what I've seen in Minnesota with all the clubs here. They have tournaments
Yeah.
that play against each other, which
Okay. Yeah.
which
Fun.
is great. So I think more of that. More tournaments. The PPA, is doing a great job with that.
Right.
So there'll be more tournaments. I've been kind of asking Bram what he thinks about Padel,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, no. So
Nothing else.
enough. He's like exactly what he said. I don't need another project. But I mean, Padel is very popular in Europe, and I mean
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be kind of fun as another option. I've never played
Yeah.
it, so
I
but
haven't either.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. Me too.
But really, I mean, my area of Lifetime is our foundation. That's what I've had a huge passion for and
Okay.
been involved with. So the rest of the company, I don't really, get too involved with. But
Yeah.
school food and cleaning that up is my baby. And if the more difference we can make in that, the happier I am.
Well, that's huge. Having worked in a high school for a long time, I can tell you that the one time I ate in the cafeteria
You got
was,
sick?
well, I was sick before I ate, because I could not believe the lack of choices, and B, the actual choices, which were basically a lot of fried foods.
Yeah.
So I mean, before we go, that's an important thing, because obviously another thing besides warming up people overlook is what they're taking in, their dietary,
Oh,
daily intake of food. And
yes.
so that's an area that obviously you know a great deal about. So let's touch on that, because you mentioned your foundation. So share a little bit more with our audience about that.
So, I'll start with our foundation. Our foundation started with going into schools, cleaning up their school lunch program. If we partner with a school,
Yeah.
if they need to agree to basically take out certain ingredients that we think are really
Right.
unhealthy for kids. So started
Right.
that way. Now we're getting into movement where we're offering kids, options to get involved with sports when they don't have the financial means. So that's huge. And I see the tie with pickleball and that, and kids getting involved with
Right.
pickleball, regardless of their financial background. So as nutrition and pickleball absolutely go hand in hand. I mean, the
Yeah.
calories that you burn on that pickleball court is insane. I don't think people realize it because it's not like you're getting your heart rate super, super high, but an hour goes
Yeah.
by, 2 hours goes by, you're still playing. So nutrition is so important when you want to get the results. You know, if you have certain goals, if you want to, get to a different level of pickleball that's higher, nutrition is absolutely important. Getting enough protein, making sure you're taking the right vitamins, because we're not getting those vitamins in our food anymore.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I'm a huge advocate of nutrition, and getting enough calories and protein throughout the day is so important.
Yeah, and if it starts with bad habits when you're in school, like our biggest issue as a teacher was the kids would come in, they wouldn't have breakfast, and they would go right to a vending machine, and they would have a bag of Cheetos and a Coke at like 7:30 first period, and lunch is until noon, and lunch isn't any butter. It's some sort of French fries and whatever it happens to be, and those things carry over, as we all know, into adulthood because you're not building good habits. And
Yes.
then, obviously, there are repercussions and consequences for that. Not only playing sports, but just day to day life.
Absolutely. And that's where you learn it as a kid, and then they watch,
Yeah.
their parents, and they see what they're getting at school. So yeah, that's been a battle, but I won't give up on it. It's so important. And
No.
I just think for people wanting to elevate their game, that's a huge component too.
Yeah. Yeah. Another overlooked component. Well, Emily, I'll let you go here. Thank you for your time. I love what Lifetime is doing. Love what you're doing with your foundation. And everybody, links in the description. Go and check out a location. It's nothing like you've experienced if you've gone to health clubs. It's not that. So check it out and become part of the culture. So thank you again,
Thank
Emily.
you, Steves. I appreciate your time, and I love what you're doing, creating awareness, and reach out. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to talk anytime.
Hope you enjoyed our conversation with Emily Akrati from Lifetime. All right, folks, you know what to do at the end of the day. Hey, let's pickle.